YouTube family. How are you this evening? I hope you are doing well. As usual, I hope you have had a wonderful day thus far. And of course, if you're on the West Coast, you might still be at work or en route coming home from traffic. But nonetheless, whatever the case it may be, I hope you've had a wonderful day thus far. And excuse me, I just wanted to pop in today, this evening, and talk to you about a topic today. My topic for today is understanding your self-worth. That's what I want to talk about, just a little bit, just a few minutes of your time. Understanding your self-worth. You know, any of you, if you've been following me for any length of time, you kind of know a little bit about my story. You know that years ago I was in a toxic marriage. I escaped it. I came out of it over the course of some years. I was able to heal, do the work, the hard work, the therapy, everything I need to do to get to being a whole, healthy, and healed individual. So you know a little bit about that. But I know a lot of times coming out of a bad relationship, sometimes we could think that the worst thing that could happen to us is for us to lose our self-worth. And it is bad. But I would dare to say, in actuality, once you understand your worth, it could be the most empowering experience ever. Actually, losing your worth, and then once you understand your worth, can be the most empowering experience and lesson learned. And I speak that from my own personal experience. There was a time, when I didn't even think I could feel happy again. I didn't even think it was possible. And I know this sounds crazy, but I didn't think I could be happy again, and I would be my happy, jovial, lighthearted, light-spirited self again. I was so torn down and so broken, I didn't think I could feel good again. But once I tapped into my self-worth, once you tap into that reservoir, and you tap into your self-worth, and you know who you are. You know who you are. You know what you want. You know whose you are. You're able to make decisions and set boundaries. I'm telling you, it is one of the most empowering experiences ever. And it actually will propel you on to be, it emboldens you. It emboldens you. And not in a negative way. I'm not talking about in a a sarcastic way, or that you just feeling yourself. I don't mean in that sense, but I just mean in the sense of once you tap into your worth, it just opens things up for you. You're able to make decisions. You're able to tell people no, like I spoke about before in my other video, when you need to. And it just opens things up for you. And I'm telling you, it's the most empowering thing ever. But I also understand there are things that hinder us, or obstacles that can cause us to not understand our worth, or that will hinder us from being able to recognize our worth. And I want to talk a little bit about those. Just a couple right off the top of my head, I would say some of the things that could hinder us or a woman from knowing or to really realizing her worth is the lack of support. When you're not receiving the lack of support that you need, that could hinder you in recognizing your self-worth. For instance, let's say, for instance, that you're going to a family member or a friend, and you're sharing what you're going through, your emotions or whatever, and you don't receive, encouraging words, or you don't receive the rapport back from them. Matter of fact, some of the things they say you could be harmful and even make you feel even worse than you did before you tried to open up to them. That's a form of lack of support, and that could also make you or cause you to not recognize your worth. So that lack of support, and a lot of times this could be even from family. Families, especially if your family, if they like the person you're with, whether it be a partner, a spouse, or whomever, and they feel like that you have a good man. What people say, well, you got a good man. He comes home, he pays the bills, he's not cheating, whatever the case may be, whatever your situation is, or however they're viewing your significant other. They feel like, what are you complaining about? What are you talking about? This man is this, that, and the other. So a lot of times, you could reach out to a loved one or a friend or someone that you feel like might have your best interest at heart, and they actually you don't get the support, the emotional support you need. So that lack of support can really hinder you in knowing or recognizing your worth. That's number one. I would say another obstacle that could hinder you would be The feeling of inadequacy, that you're feeling inadequate. And that could come from past experiences as well. And it does not have to be romantic. It could be from a friendship. It could be from childhood. You know, you could have had a childhood to where you were growing up and you were mistreated, perhaps by your own family members, your parents, or you were bullied a lot in school. And of course, in a relationship where you were mistreated, you know, in past relationships. So now you're to the point to where you feel inadequate. You don't feel like you're enough. You're always comparing yourself to other people. So you're very, you know, you just kind of inside of yourself. You don't feel, you feel very inadequate because you haven't been, you know, you've been beat down. You haven't been treated well. You've been neglected or you've been disregarded. So that's one of the things, you know, just the feeling of inadequacy can also cause us to, it could hinder you from actually recognizing your worth. And let me see, another obstacle way that could keep you from really understanding your worth would be, I would say, fear of judgment too. Fear of judgment as well. A lot of times, going back to what I was talking about sharing, you could share something with someone that you have some sort of high regard for, and they not give you the support that you feel that you need. Or you could be concerned with society. You know, a lot of times the fear of rejection, we're worried about how society sees us, or we're worried about how we're perceived. All of those things can hinder you and cause you to not recognize your worth. And it can also cause you, a lot of times, cause people to stay in circumstances longer than they should because they're so busy worried about what other people think. They're so worried about what their family think or how they're going to be perceived, especially if they're trying to keep up a persona. So all of these things are factors and just ways in which they can hinder a woman in not recognizing her worth and keeping her from understanding that worth. But again, once you recognize your worth, once you understand your worth and you tap into that reservoir, is one of the most empowering things ever. And it will actually help you to move forward in your life and, you know, becoming more that healed and whole individual that you need to be. It will put you on that journey. So that's what I want to share with you this evening. I just want to just drop a little tip about understanding our worth. It is so important because if you don't think you're important, no one else is going to think you're important. If you don't pick yourself up and know that you are worth something, no one else is going to do it. So I want to share that with you this evening. Just leave that little nugget with you. And again, as always, thank you for tuning in to my channel. I so appreciate you. And if you find this information helpful, and if you're having any challenges or you have any questions as it relates to the topic that I was talking about today, I invite you to book a sales call with me to learn more, okay? So I look forward to talking to you again, and I'll see you on my next video. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.